Civitatum says I ventured into the PvP zone and procured stogies.
Oh my god. What's the PvP zone? Is that where everyone's like fighting for them? Oh, wow. I love it though. Actually, you're right.
Civitatum says the outside world.
The outside world really is just a PvP zone. No wonder no one wants to touch grass.
Yeah, if you go outside and you try to touch grass, you might miss like the grass might cut off your fingers, so
Damn.
you want to be careful about that.
Oh, God, I wonder if they still do these things where. Let me check. I'm so curious. Do they still do that? Okay, this is a quiz. They used to do this thing. I don't know if they. Maybe they still do it, but where they force you to submit projects, like to continue. Well, to get the badge. They probably still do it. I'm just like, it'd be kind of interesting if they took it out, and you can still like get the badges. But I'll do what I need to do. Let's see. You know what, SPQ? I'll definitely get a chance to use the language, because eventually I want to, you know, I want to also do Unreal too, because Unreal is also a really, really cool game engine. And there they use the language all the way. Let's see. What checkpoint do they have here?
Civitatum says awesome.
That'll be fun. Though I know Unreal is a lot more difficult to get into, less documentation, and you need a NASA supercomputer to run it, supposedly. But it's such a cool engine. Yeah, so they still have these submissions. I'll do all those. Yeah, one of the things that really made me like Unity, it made me want to do it originally, is like they have these really nice learning pathways for free, and that's really cool. A little free education. Oh, it's that time already. Wow. How many missions were there here? I mean, they can finish all the way up to 4. Then I'll go eat food. And then maybe I'll come back, or maybe I'll sleep. But if I'm not tired, then I'll just come back after eating. But before I do that, I want to get to. I mean, this isn't very big. I want to read through this. That'll be good. Oh my
Civitatum says maybe
god.
I said that before, but the
Hmm.
thing I like about C sharp is
Okay.
reflection. Bypassing the
Oh,
lack of
cool.
reflection in the language is kinda pain.
Yeah, Corrupt said that he likes reflection. Well, that reflection is just a really cool feature of C sharp. I remember. That'll be fun. Be able to use that more. Or just getting the chance to even use reflection would be fun.
Yeah, reflection is nice. It's also the thing that's going to let you make it so that like, people can add in like mods
Yes.
to the game easily. Because that's the way that you're going to be able to run the code in whatever plugins people add to the game. You have to use reflection.
That'd be so cool. So hopefully I'll get to use it a lot then, because anything I make,
With this signature and run it.
yeah, anything that I make, I want people to like really easily be able to mod. Like I want, the more mods, the better. The more things people make, the better.
Release the source code for your game.
Release the source code. I could. Though, as you said, it's really not that hard to get source code from a Unity game, so.
Well, you don't get the source code, but you get readable code that's pretty close to the source code. Unless they obfuscate it.
Oh, it's not really the source code though, really? Oh wait,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
I
not.
see.
Yeah, because the actual source code isn't saved in when the game is shipped. It's the compiled code. It's a decompiler. It takes the compiled code and then translates it into readable code that you can understand.
I see, but it can't go in the other direction. Like it can decompile it, but then it can't like compile it back again. It's like,
It can no DNSpy can.
oh.
DNSpy is a decompiler and editor, so it
But
lets you
basically
decompile
Unity
it
wouldn't be able to
and
read it.
decompile it.
Like the NSpy can
But
is what it turns it into, but then Unity, if you like Unity wouldn't be able to read what it spits out, right? And you're saying that?
what DNSpy spits out?
Yeah, you couldn't just like
No,
immediately use it.
it edits in place. Well, you might not. Well, it wouldn't be like. It's not like source code that. So the way DNSpy works on compiled code, like compiled libraries, the DLL files that your C# code will compile to, or the executables that it compiles to. It doesn't operate on source code files.
Oh
It
yeah,
operates on
it's the compile
already
code, but the source code turns into compile code, and then it like
yeah, it turns into
decompiles
compiled
it.
code. But
I
the way
think
what
back
Unity
into
does,
source.
yeah, what Unity does is it compiles your code. Like you have your source code in Visual Studio or whatever in the project, and and it'll compile that into an assembly C sharp, assembly dash C sharp.dll, um, and then it'll use that and load that into the game. But what but when you're editing it with DNSpy, if you're talking about the Unity editor, if you're editing the assembly C sharp in DNSpy, that's not editing the source code. So next time you like build your project or run the game, it's just gonna re-edit the assembly C sharp. Only if you're doing this in the editor. But if you have the finished the already built game and you edit the source, you edit the code in the assembly C sharp in DNSpy, that's modding the game.
Oh yeah. I was only talking about the actual, like you're getting the text version of the code, not like will the actual game change. I didn't really mean that.
Runs and you can replace your source code with the output from with what DNSpy gives you, and it probably still works probably exactly the same. Sometimes it might even be better. But yeah, I mean, the only times where the decompiled code from DNSpy is not something that you can run or replace your code with usually is when you do certain things that cause it to generate code that looks weird. Like if you use anonymous functions, or if you put a function in, if you define a method inside of another method, and while especially if you do that while like if you have an anonymous function and inside of that you reference a variable from outside of that anonymous function outside of its scope, like in the function that it's inside of, like one of that function's local variables, it'll make your code look really weird when it's decompiled. I could probably find
Oh, make
examples
us
of what
weird.
that
Well,
looks like.
there's something.
What'd you say?
Just.
What'd you say?
Oh, I'm just finishing reading this so I can like go eat the food.
Oh, let me see if I can find an example.
Oh yeah, I read this. Oh yeah, what the hell? I read all this. I think it's on here.
I know I have an example somewhere in here.
Nice.
One type of power tools. Is it this one that had broken shit? Or was there another one? Yeah, this one.
Oh my god, this is the thing you always tell me to do. Corrupt this part. It's funny.
I don't know what. I don't
You're
know what
like
you're
you
looking
should do
at.
this.
What
I
should you
should.
do?
Multiple desktops and Windows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send this. Look at this is what happens. What the decompile code ends up doing if you if you do certain things. It's only if you do certain things.
Let's see.
And eventually I figured out it's when
What
you
the hell?
try to reference a local variable that's outside of the scope of the anonymous function. Because when you make a function, when you define a method or anonymous function inside of another method, it's not actually inside of that method. When it compiles to its own separate method, like outside of the other thing. The only way for that information to be passed into the other method is by making an entirely new class for it with new local variables or whatever, storing that information there, and then having that method be a method of that class and all that. That's how that works. It's I like glazed over it, but that's like it has to make an entire new method in order to a new class in order to make that whole thing work. Do you see what I said in Discord?
Yeah. So the whole CS, the $ stuff.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you try to compile that code, you're gonna get 500 syntax errors. But
I see. So this is what DNSpy gives, but you couldn't. You would have to like modify this if you wanted to like put it in and like play it like through like compile it with this.
What I would do is I would go into it because there's also some other things. So if something is marked as compiler generated when you open it up in DNSpy, it tends to like hide it. But there's ways around that, and what I would do in order to make this like readable, editable, whatever, is I would modify the names of these things directly into more reasonable names that you can actually compile, and then you can take a look at it and figure out what it's doing. I could like make changes to my source code so that way it doesn't do this in DNSpy, but I can't be bothered.
Oh well.
Like I could do it, but I don't really want to.
So then, wait, did you just say you would like take the methods out of the methods and just like make a whole separate class for them, and then so you wouldn't use that feature to get around like doing that?
I think I can find the code that generates that. I think I can find the code that generates that.
Okay. Nice. Ooh, I just kind of realized something they did here that's really different. Um, in this new version of the essentials pathway is they took out like all this fluff. Like before, rather than like actually teaching you Unity, it was a lot of. I mean, it had its own place, but it was a lot of like just talking about the game industry and like all the things you can do with Unity and like previewing all this like you can do all this cool stuff and you can get into VR and you can it was like a lot of that but not like getting then it like took a while before you were actually allowed to do anything. Like it showed you how to do anything with Unity, so I like this new pathway. I think it's good. The other stuff wasn't bad. It just
Learn about
it was really slow to get
learn
into.
about what the greatest of the greatest have done. We're not going to teach you how to do it.
What'd you say?
Like, learn about what the greatest of the greatest have done. We're not going to teach you how to do it.
Yeah, it was something like that. They were like showing you all this cool stuff, but then, you know, it's stuff that you're not gonna learn for a while. I mean, it was cool to get a taste of all the different things like game developers do. And I guess the idea was it was supposed to be like exciting and get people into it. But the problem was it's just like it took so long to actually learn anything about Unity. It was just very slow. So that's probably why they took that out. They should have. I think they should have included it, but had it be like extra. Like it's like if you want to learn more about like want a preview of some of the things professional developers do, like check this out. But it's not gonna like teach you any actual skills. Anyway, I'm gonna go and cook some food and stuff. I might be back after. I'm gonna do it before my family gets up, so I have like the kitchen to myself.
What is this? Your message cannot be delivered. What?
What?
Why? Can I reply to this?
Just
Why?
push the
What do you mean
retry
what do you
button.
mean
That
by
happens
message?
when you have a connection error.
Oh, what?
If it's on Discord, if you have like an error when it like, tries to send the message like with your Wi-Fi or something, then you just retry.
It's saying it's saying your message cannot be delivered. This is usually because you don't share a server with the recipient, or the recipient is only accepting direct messages from friends. I didn't send this in a DM. That only happens when that's only supposed to happen when you send the message in a DM with someone you can't DM.
Well, that's what happens when you use an old
Why
app.
is
That's
it
what you get.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Well, tell me, figure it out. I'm gonna go.
Did you see the code that I sent? Did that actually send?
Yeah.
The text? No.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, it sent.
Yeah, the not image. Okay, so it did send. So why is it telling me it didn't send?
I don't know. This one's 7-2. Yeah, it did.
Okay.
Maybe just restart it, and that sent too. But yeah.
Okay, so.
Okay, I'm gonna go eat. I'll see ya.
Okay, I'm gonna send the code and the decompiled version of the same code.
Oh, just to see what it looks like. Okay, I'll look at that real quick, and then.
So
then
you can like compare them. So this is.
I need to cut.
So this is that, and then the other one, the decompiled version of the same code. Let me get this. CS.
Wait, this is which one are you sending first? What is this one?
I sent the original.
Oh,
the original first. Go away. Okay. It's not gonna let me send that because it's too big apparently.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Upload a file. I have a way around this. Oh. Okay.
Just like screenshot it. The picture was too big.
As file. Upload as file. No, not screenshotting.
Oh.
Upload as file. Okay. Tools. Part.cs. Don't anonymize file name.
Oh, you know, by the way, SVQ, it was really nice seeing you because it's nice seeing that I got to see you for so long. Yay.
There we go.
Like you were here for a long time. Yeah.
I wonder if that's because. I wonder if wait.
And thanks for helping me understand all the stuff earlier. That was nice of you. Appreciate it.
I don't like how it's like so much smaller when I do it like that, or so much like smaller horizontally, so everything looks all weird.
Oh, there it is.
But yeah, those are the two things.
Mm-hmm.
And it like in the preview of the code, it got rid of all the space before the lines. It looks so scuffed. Why did it do that? So weird.
Wait, I think I should start from. Wait.
But if you like do the view whole file, it shows all the spaces. Oh, because they're are they tabs? Why are they tabs? Oh, they're tabs. What? I thought they were gonna be spaces. Well, that explains the other thing, I guess.
Maybe I'm crazy, but why is there an else, but I don't see an else in the picture?
Why is there a what?
An else, but in the DN spy one, but there's no else in
There's
the.
an else.
I can't find an else.
Inner.
Crazy.
So let me try and figure out where exactly that is. I'm
Sweet.
gonna look at my version because that one is like scuffed. If assembly 3 is not null, then assembly 3 as a result, else null equals null.
But then in the like code that's like the one you actually wrote, there's no else.
Yeah, let me look at that. So I think I can like compare this to figure out exactly what line this is talking about. If so, it's in the first if block, I guess. If because I did null coalescing operator, looks like, or whatever this is called.
Oh, so it turns into that when it's like, well, the ends by it like
because
that.
well, it's I guess it comes from doing this line. I think that's where it seems to be coming from. Now, why is there an else statement there? Oh, wait. Why is there an else statement there, though?
Exactly. Like else.
Inner exception.
Anyway. Maybe you'll.
Okay. I'm guessing it has to do with. It looks like it has to do with. It looks like it has to do with that and this line too, which has a lot of that. So somewhere along that, it decided that it needed an else. Well, I guess the else statement comes from probably more from that line than anything. That's probably where the else statement comes from.
Oh, adding an exception or something in there.
Assembly. If that.
Well.
Then just inner exceptions equals. And does it not do that?
That's interesting. So I guess with DN Spy, you get literally everything, like even the stuff that you didn't write, like the stuff the compiler would add for you.
Oh no! I know why. I know why it's doing that. Never mind. I know why it's doing that. It's actually the go-to. It's this go-to. It's that. That's why it's doing it.
Oh.
It replaced my go-to with an if else.
So that's what that probably what like the C# like what it does. Like that's really cool. Like adds.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. No, I figured it out.
You don't have to write out the whole thing. Like it'll just do it for you. That's nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the go-to.
Cool.
Because if I'm looking at,
Yeah.
whoops, that's not what I want to click on. If I'm looking at this thing, this go-to exists just to skip a bunch of code, skip running a bunch of code.
Good one. Yeah, I see.
So that can be replaced with just an else on that whole if block.
Hmm. But yeah. Alright, I'll see ya.
Wait, why is...
Bye, guys.
Okay.